No matter how old you are, the desire to explore the woods, cities, or any remote place is something we all carry in a space of our hearts. We are intrigued by the unknown, by what no one can understand or explain. We are addicted to stories, especially those that arouse our curiosity, and there are many of them. However, there are explorations that go terribly wrong. Their protagonists are real daredevils who venture into places that you and I would not be able to get close to. And then they encounter strange events, unexpected surprises, and even death. At the end of the day, there are urban explorations that go very wrong. And if you stay tuned, you'll discover 5 that will give you a new reason to stay safe at home. Number 5. A fall from the heights. Social media is plagued with all sorts of people doing a myriad of flashy activities with the sole purpose of going viral. However, a few manage to reach the top trends without even trying. This is the case of an urban explorer whose video recently went viral for its nefarious result. The images show a group of 4 young men walking around the Green Bank Synagogue. Apparently, they all seem confident in their steps. They are convinced that visiting an abandoned place could be very attractive for social media, so they walk around the area with their cameras on. But this adventure was not just about taking pictures of the dilapidated, graffiti-ridden site. On the contrary, as they advanced through the area, the young people began to climb inside the synagogue until they reached the wooden slats that support the roof. That is where the real end begins. One of the young men breaks one of the wooden slats and his body falls into the void. Luckily, before he falls to the ground, his leg is caught in the wood, and his body hangs in the air while the rest of the group screams and tries to find a way how to solve the problem. Fortunately for the victim, he manages to recover his position with great effort and escapes from the deadly trap of that place full of ruins. Online, everyone thinks the exact same thing. That adventure could have cost them their lives. Number 4. The fall of the student. When an urban explorer faces danger, he doesn't always make it out alive. And this became clear to many people in the Devon community after learning about the case of Ethan Bonner. Ethan was born in Scotland and was a 22-year-old who had shown a keen interest in exploration since childhood. Part of his hobbies consisted of wandering through uninhabited places with the sole purpose of discovering areas abandoned by the hand of man. That year, he had just completed the first module of an illustration course at Plymouth University, and it was there that he had made a group of friends who helped him discover a new fascination: climbing. He gradually became proficient in this activity and used his new skills to explore inhospitable places. However, one day when he was exploring the 6th floor of an abandoned warehouse in Totnes, Ethan had no idea that he was about to meet his demise. For weeks, Ethan was declared missing until he was discovered on the concrete floor of the warehouse. According to investigations, he fell from the 6th floor and suffered a traumatic brain injury that caused his immediate death. Number 3. A paranormal tour. Exploring the secrets of large urban areas at night is becoming an increasingly popular hobby among young people. Many people believe that the adrenaline rush given by darkness adds an interesting incentive to this type of pastime. But unfortunately, sometimes the night becomes a very dangerous enemy. Recently, a video has captivated the attention of social networks. It is a video filmed supposedly in an abandoned house in a rural area of Japan. The place looks abandoned, dirty, and gloomy, but everything turns into a real episode of paranormal activity when a mysterious noise forces the cameraman to escape from the house, only to stumble upon a blurry shape emerging outside the abandoned property. At first, it is impossible to distinguish what it is, but seconds later, something unusual is captured by the crew's lens. A strange mark similar to that of a hand comes dangerously close to the man and forces him to flee back into the house. The terror is perceived in his sudden movements and desperation to escape from the supernatural presence. Once he calms down, the man tries to focus on specific areas of the house, but not before capturing the ghostly face and the mysterious figure of a strange creature that walks through the rooms before disappearing. What is hidden behind this video? Did the cameraman really capture a spirit in that abandoned house? The social networks still do not know how to answer these questions. Number 2. A ghostly call. Another spooky story was told by a 16-year-old girl and her school friends at midnight on a Friday night. The group of teens had snuck away from their homes to explore the wooded areas of their community during the night. The plan was terrifying, but not to them. As they made their way along the trail, absolute darkness covered several stretches of the trail. Occasionally, the moonbeams would slightly illuminate the path for the young students, but most of the time they walked without being able to see anything. Right in the middle of the journey, the girl felt a small hand squeezing her wrist. Immediately, she screamed, asking to be released, believing that one of her friends was trying to play a bad joke on her, but she could not get rid of the hand that was squeezing her. It was strange. The hand was too small to belong to one of her friends and had a softness that is common in women's skin. However, it didn't take long before the protagonist of this story discovered the truth. When she reached a stretch of light, she was determined to hit the person responsible for that scare. But the hand had disappeared. Not only that, she was completely alone. Then she began to scream, and after 2 minutes her friends caught up with her, and somehow the young woman had inexplicably disappeared into the darkness. Number 1. A beast in the dark. One night in April, a group of young teenagers decided that it was a brilliant idea to explore the abandoned Hayneswood Hospital, a place surrounded by creepy legends and popularly known as a place for the homeless and drug addicts. The group had prepared to enter a place full of ruins, forgotten beds, and rusted doors, but what they found was simply paralyzing. At first, it was all laughter as the group moved forward, shining flashlights into the operating rooms, intensive care rooms, and even the hospital's dining room. But then they decided to descend into the basement. They were immediately hit by a foul smell, like that of a decomposing animal. None of them knew that the place was used as a morgue, and when they reached the main room, they discovered that the floor had up to 5 centimeters of water on it. The lights of the lanterns illuminated the small abandoned compartments of the place, but then something completely changed everyone's mood. A strange, fast splashing sound terrified them. As they tried to find the source, they saw a figure running on all fours, emitting a ferocious growl. The group began to scream as they fled the scene, but the more they ran, the closer they heard the sound of the beast's footsteps. There was no way to escape the creature, so they quickly decided to split up. That way, the beast would not be able to catch them. The teenagers scattered around the area, hiding in the boiler rooms, in the operating rooms, or in any other abandoned room. That worked. The creature was completely oblivious, and the sound of desperate thrashing and growling could be heard throughout the hospital. Time went on, and the teenagers remained hidden in the darkness, praying to their gods not to be caught by that mysterious creature. They escaped from the hospital one by one after several hours, a time that felt like forever. The next day, the young people denounced the terrible experience they had undergone, but the authorities paid no attention to their statements, although they made sure to permanently prohibit entry to the hospital. However, many people continued to avoid the ban and to visit the home of this strange unknown creature. We still don't know if it's real or only part of the imagination of a group of teenagers who wanted to explore an abandoned area and ended up terrified by the darkness. Regardless of whether this and so many other stories are true or false, one thing is for sure. All abandoned places hide creepy secrets that we should leave buried in oblivion. If you are one of those people who want to discover them, be warned that danger lurks where you least expect it. You can come across these kinds of creepy events in many areas besides urban locations. Would you like to discover other places and spaces where paranormal activity and spooky mysteries abound? Then check out these videos.